think we got Max Klietsch up next. Max, good to see you. Good to have you inside the house. Welcome to Shane's Rib Shack.
Thank you.
Big offensive lineman. If Chris Forlano was here, could we bring him back this season? Remember Chris last year?
Yes, sir.
He was always a loyal Greensboro Sports follower. You see that guy every Friday night after the ball games. His family go to McDonald's on West Ridge Road every Friday. Talk to them after the games. Chris, you've lost several players in these previous teams, Max, but you guys seem to be playing well. What has kept the ball, kept the train rolling?
Well, and we also lost an offensive line coach this year. Coach Hepler left us, and he went to another team just because, the job and
opportunity.
The opportunity, yes, sir.
Right,
and but one of the things is, we've always had a young group of kids, and it seems like we're always undersized as an offensive and defensive.
But I looked at your number. You must be about 250, right?
Yes, sir.
So you're a little bit to the exception to the rules.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And but everybody, I'm the biggest, this year, and but we've always had a undersized but quick offensive line. But one of the things is just all the young guys seem to have a determination to learn about the game.
Do you like this team? I mean, you're not the coach, but you're one of the key players. You're a senior. Plus, I think you're one of the captains too. Do you like this team, this group?
Oh yeah, they're a great group of guys. I'm the only senior on the line this year, and that's one of the things that's been tough is not having someone to kind of coach you. And the tables have really turned, and now I'm the coach, kind of coaching some of those younger guys, and it's been one of those things that you just got to step up to the plate, and they've done a good job of wanting to learn and being determined to get better every day in practice, and so that's just one of the things that I think this group is really good at.
What do you think is different about this team this year, maybe than last year, or the previous year? Something different you could touch on, and what's something maybe makes this team better this year than it was in the past?
Fundamentals, really. They have a great technique. What they lack in size, they make up in their aggression and their determination.
You're right about that one thing too. You touched on that. The technique is so important because you can out-technique a man who's bigger if you drive in the correct way, you hit him at the right time, get him early. I mean, technique can win a lot of battles.
Yes, sir. And that's one thing they're good at is they've really put a lot of time into perfecting their technique over and over and over again in practice.
Is that the key too? You just talked about the over and over, the repetition.
Yeah, repetitions a lot. Even in scout team we use our starting offensive line just because we're a firm believer in practice makes perfect. So as many reps as we can get those starters, the better. So
are you playing defense too or just offense?
I'm playing some defense. I'm primarily offense, but
are you doing any nose guard work on defense?
Yes, sir.
You like that spot?
I do. It's a lot of fun. Playing both ways. It gets tiring, but at the same time, it's a lot of fun.
Do you attack the opposing center? You line up directly on him and go right into him, attack him?
Yes, sir. And we do a lot of different works out of our D line and different stunts. So I get to move around a lot, and that's one of the things that even though it is you're adding a lot more technique and a lot more position into your job. It's one of those things that it uplifts you and you make a good play and it gets that momentum going for the next the other side of the ball.
And I was asking what makes this team this year better than the previous teams. One thing I might think about it too, this is like your team this year. It's always a little bit different when you're the senior, you're a captain, as opposed to the other teams are great because you got the rings for the finger, the state champion rings, but this is your team now.
Most definitely. That's one of the things that's kind of hard to realize, but it's it's our team now, and it's not the guys that came before us. They had their group of leaders, and now we're the true leaders of this team.
When the old guys come around now, do you kind of cast them aside a little bit, or still take them in because they want to come back? Everybody wants to come back, kind of get that rub. The team's doing well, but this is your bunch now.
Yeah, they come back and they respect us, and we respect them, and we're all really good friends. We've always we always go through the same stuff that they have. So when they come back, there's that mutual respect between all of us. So. And
one thing about it, you want to definitely beat Eastern Guilford, right? You're only one game away from everybody is in football in this playoff situation. One game away from the career being over for high school. You got to take that into consideration too. Though you heavily favored tomorrow night, still only one game away from it all being done.
Yes, sir. And that's one thing that we've really driven into some of the younger guys is they've never been in a situation where it hasn't been all or nothing, where it hasn't been for all the
Becomes the
marbles.
do or die.
Exactly, and so that's one of the situations that they're nervous about it, but at the same time, nervousness can be good because you go out there and you treat it like it is the last game you'll ever play, and odds are you'll come out on top.
Have you had any injuries during the course of your career?
Yes, I have.
When did that happen? Anything this year? Or was it in the previous years?
No, it has been this year.
Okay.
But I had to take Western Alamance out, and but it's getting better.
What was happening there?
Stinger and a pinched nerve.
Shoulder?
Yes, sir.
Wow. That came on an offensive play, maybe?
Yes, sir.
Interesting. That only kept you out that one game.
Yep.
That kind of felt kind of like an absence. That was a pretty big game for you, too. You hate to miss that one.
Yeah, that was really tough because that's one that we lost my freshman year, and it was one of those things where you always want to play those big games, and that's one thing I'll definitely miss is playing Western Alamance. They're a really good team. I always enjoy playing up against them.
Good point. I was about this today before we talked to you guys tonight. The games you go blow people out in some ways are kind of fun, but man, I always like a close game. Seems like it means more.
Yeah.
A tight game and winning a tight game.
Definitely. That's what I've really enjoyed about playing, especially for this team. We always challenge ourselves in our schedules. Playing some of the 4A teams and all that, and those are probably my favorite games.
But you missed that Dudley game. You would love.
I do. I really wish we could play them this year. But we already had the season full, so.
And you got the Page game. That was big.
Yep, that was big, and playing those games are always my favorite because those are always the ones that you remember most.
The crazy thing is, last year you didn't even have any close games in the playoffs.
Yeah,
at all.
no.
I mean, nothing really close. I remember a couple years ago, you had that real close, fairly close game down at Wilson Hunt in the Eastern Regional Championship game. That was pretty close. And boy, that Crest game in the championship game was close. You guys went at what, 21-20?
Yes,
They
sir.
missed the extra point.
They missed the extra point, and I believe he was a All-American kicker, a Shrine
He was
Bowl
on the
kicker.
Shrine Bowl game. Yes, right, exactly.
So
right. That had to even be a little bit more bittersweet for that situation there.
Yeah.
How about Eastern Guilford tomorrow night? What's your role going to be in that game for yourself?
Well, for me, it's just going to be getting these guys ready and not underestimating them. Obviously we did pretty well against them the first time, but they are a team that has time and time again come back and played really physical football. They're really fast. They've got a few great athletes.
Some pretty quick backs back there.
They do. They have a lot of speed. But if we just keep our heads where they're supposed to be and not underestimate us, it'll be fun.
What's the key to getting started one of these games? Get out there early, make some contact.
Yeah. Either offense and defense. On either side of the ball, we tend to try to hit them quick. Whether it's a quick score or a quick stop. We always seem to try to come out and get the momentum swinging in our direction.
Who do you say the face of the Northern Guilford franchise is? Who's the face of this Northern Guilford team over the years? The face of the franchise. I've heard this on so many talk shows over the years. I'm kind of getting sick of it. They do use this term a lot. Who would be on the Mount Rushmore if you had your Mount Rushmore there with Northern Guilford? Who's the face of this franchise?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a difficult question because it's easy to say, Coach Roscoe. He's been a great coach over getting this program started, and he was an incredible coach. But it's hard to say because everybody plays their role in this, and it's not just one person or one key player. Everybody has a role and a job.
I guess if you had that like a Mount Rushmore of the outstanding franchise in Northern Guilford, you have to have Coach Roscoe and TJ Logan up there.
I suppose. Yeah. TJ did a great job. These past few years.
Was it fun to block for a guy like that?
Oh
TJ,
yeah.
You get your first block, you look up and he's gone, right?
Exactly.
If you're as a lineman over the years, remember as a younger kid being in these games occasionally, sometimes it's kind of fun if you can. He takes off down the field, try to run as fast as you can and kind of get to the end zone with him, make like you're part of the run, the touchdown.
Yeah. He was an amazing guy, and especially being that successful, and he still, turns around and gives credit for everybody who helps him get there, and so he has a great personality.
I think he's got going too is that good smile. Always
always smiling.
Yeah, always good to see that. What's part of Coach Roscoe that stays with this team? Is there something particular he did or said or was doing that's still with this team even today?
Yeah, one of the things that going along with the 3 state championships, he said, keeping a legacy, and he always said it's like building a house. You have your foundation, your first floor, and your second floor, and you just keep trying to build on top of things. And that's one of the things that we've kind of carried is we always have a motto and a saying and a way we do things for every year, and that's it's just it keeps building on itself to create a legacy.
And I'm sure he probably tells you guys too, don't let anybody take that foundation away.
Exactly. What we've accomplished in the past 3 years, we've been fortunate enough to have that, and no one can take that away from us. But also, don't let it. You don't want your hunger to expire.
Sure.
Always have to have that drive.
Always have that hunger. That's why those playoffs, week 1, it gets a little more hungry. Week 2, 3, 4, 5 down the road.
Yes, sir.
You kind of think about all this and Coach Roscoe and how all this builds. Who's been the mentor for you over the years?
I'd have to say, Coach Thomas. He came here, when I was a freshman, and he was one of those guys that I could immediately tell that he was going to be a great part of this program, and he has, becoming a head coach and all that. One of the newer coaches, I don't want to say newer, but he came my sophomore year, was Coach Meekins, defensive line coach, and he's been a great influence on me. A great guy. He's always keeping our heads up through the worst of things, and patting us on the back through the best. So he's both of those guys have just been an incredible influence on not only the team, but and my perspective in the team, but also my life in general.
Any players in particular kind of mentored you growing up, kind of roughed you up occasionally? Maybe not did the Richie Incognito, but just kind of brought you along.
Yeah, Stephen Mechanic was there.
He was a tough guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
I liked his approach.
He plays at Appalachian State now.
He was a linebacker, maybe?
He was defensive end.
Defensive end, okay.
And then Sam Parker. He also
Sam was a big guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
They both carried me along to kind of get me to start leading some of these younger guys. But
what is the team motto this year? Because you were talking about the motto earlier.
We had one game and Band of Brothers, and playing for the brand for the past 3 years, and basically that just going to say playing like a family and creating a brand that when somebody sees our emblem or sees our name, that they know who we are.
Smart move. I like that idea, creating the brand.
And this year it's winning the day.
Winning the day.
Like Oregon, and so every day you're going out, even if it's not game day, you're still getting better in practice. You're still getting better in everything, and being a good person, and you're at the end of the day you feel like you've won the day.
Now you mentioned as a freshman you were with this team. Did you play on a regular basis as a freshman?
I dressed varsity and I played JV, and was fortunate enough to
Did you get
play.
a ring?
I did. Yes,
So
sir.
you got 1, 2, 3 of those, right?
Yes, sir.
Chance to get the 4th.
Yes, sir. Hopefully.
Yourself and Austin Coltrane. Anybody else fall in that same category? Chance for 4 rings?
Most of those guys over there: T.J. Ruff, Robert Wilcox, Chris Rittberger, and I think those are the ones that
It's
still have
almost
fruit.
unheard of in high school football, I would
Yeah.
think. Because so many schools, the bigger schools like Charlotte Independence, who won, I think, 7 in a row at one time, most of those guys were playing 10th, 11th, and 12th, but maybe not 9th grade. But you guys have a chance to get 4.
Yes, sir.
What would it take to get that 4th?
Just determination and not underestimating an opponent. We have a great football team, but we still need to learn. We're very physical, we're athletic, but there's a mental aspect that you can't underestimate anybody, and you've got to just kind of clear your head and treat every game like it's your last. And that's something that for the past 3 years we've been pretty good at, and just getting through the playoffs, week by week, not thinking about that next opponent, because this is the only week that matters.
So they got a one-game schedule right now, Eastern Guilford, right?
Yes, sir.
And the good thing you're saying I like to hear is the fact you're still learning every game, every day. You're still learning new things.
Yes, sir.
How about if you play for an ACC team like Duke, North Carolina, NC State, Wake Forest, or even include the big schools, East Carolina? Which of those do you choose?
Probably Carolina.
Like to go down and play, hook up a TJ again?
Yeah.
Daniel Downing and Reed Baxter's there, a few other guys.
Yeah.
Any aspirations for something like that?
Not especially. It's been a great ride. Playing for Northern, and I would love to play college ball, and if the opportunity came, then it's something I have to consider. But for now, it's just I've had a lot of fun. I've been around a bunch of great guys. I've had a great experience.
So you wouldn't have to play that college ball to reach a level of satisfaction. It doesn't, the football doesn't consume you then.
Yeah, I think it'll be a hard adjustment just because I love the game so much, and it'll be different not playing if I don't decide to play. But if I do, it's just another level that.
What will you be studying in college?
Either business, as far as like entrepreneurship, or civil engineering.
So that branding idea you came up earlier is pretty good too. I like that idea. Do you take the sports marketing class?
I do.
That's a good. That branding had to come. I bet that Nike name shows up occasionally in that class. You guys probably talk about that.
Yeah.
I saw a thing this week. I think it's Phil Knight who came up with the Nike brand. Anyway, he was at the Oregon game last Thursday. They got beat. Then they found him at the Alabama game on Saturday. He kind of switched his allegiance, I think, a little bit.
Yeah. It's one of those things that we studied pretty hard for, to create that motto.
I always heard he developed two out of it. He was selling these shoes out around Beaverton, Oregon, somewhere in the back of his trunk when he first got going.
Yeah.
But you guys studied a lot of that too, I guess. Do you still get, I guess, Herb Appenzeller, who spoke to you guys last year? Does he still come in?
I haven't really seen much of him this year.
What about John Horshack? Has he been back? Remember him?
No.
I think he spoke to you guys last year too. And that. Mark, do you still get the guest speakers in?
Yes, we do.
Who have you had this year?
We've had Daryl Haymore. He was diagnosed with the ALS, and his wife, and he's been a great inspiration to us. Just trying to not necessarily for the team itself. He's just a great guy, and he gives us a lot of great speeches, but it's one of the things our team tries to contribute back to him and give him motivation to keep going, because he surpassed both of his prognosis dates, and so that's one of the amazing things about this man. And he's been a great motivation to us to clear our mind and to never give up on anything.
Big question for you here. Do you think Coach Roscoe would ever come back to speak to you guys prior to the game, or just pretty much distance himself from this thing now?
I'm not really sure. He's made several appearances to a couple games, but he's not tried to get involved. And that's one of the things that, as much as I miss him, I like to talk to him, off the field and stuff. And I really miss some of the points that he would have in his speeches. And but I think right now he's trying to distance himself. Just kind of coming fresh off of leaving the team, but still get to talk to him outside of football.
Now, he was a great coach. Coach Brian Thomas is a very good coach as well, doing a good job with your team. If you had a female teacher at Northern that took over the team, it was in charge of the games the rest of the way, who would take over? Have you got a female teacher that can run the show?
Yeah, it's hard to replace a coach like Coach Thomas, but I would say probably his wife. Has the kind of mentality of that he does.
Does she talk? She must talk a lot of sports, and she teaches that marketing class.
Yes,
too,
yes, she does. So she's got the mentality for that, and I think she'd do a decent job.
I was going to ask Austin this question, but I think I'll ask you, because it may be better coming from a different person beside him. Who is the next quarterback going to be at Northern Guilford? Austin Coltrane's days are done.
Yeah.
I've been rolling that around in my head a little bit too.
I'm not sure.
I'm thinking maybe Mook Reynolds is a big athlete. He could take that job, or even Cam Harris, who's out now injury-wise. But who becomes the quarterback next year, I guess, for Northern when Austin moves on to college somewhere?
Yeah, that's
Any idea the quarterback of the future?
That's one of the strange things to think about is who's going to be the quarterback, and we have a lot of younger athletes that mentally need to progress and get stronger mentally for that position. But I do believe Cam Harris or Mook Reynolds would be able to take that.
I've heard about that sometimes. You hate to kind of move your athletes, your skill players.
Exactly,
You lose a little something there. But then again, somebody's got to take charge. And when Keenan Allen stepped back there, we know what some of the things he was able to do when he jumped in that Wildcat spot.
And that's one of the things that I think can be really deadly is not having a set quarterback, but being able to move several people into the quarterback position. TJ took that spot last year with Wildcat.
You're exactly right. You don't know who's going to get the ball.
Yeah, exactly. So
you don't know what they're going to do when they get it. What's coming up?
So I think Miles Timmons, a JV player, he I think he has the potential to step up and make that happen. he just needs to get a little bit more mentally focused and mentally tough. But switching, Cameron Harris and Mook Reynolds, both of them in there.
Rotate the two.
Exactly.
Who is a big playmaker on your defense? You play the offense, you play some defense. Who's a playmaker on defense for this team? Who do we shout out to there? Because we talk all about the offense. We see what the offense can do, but the defense has kind of been the unsung hero over the past 3 years.
Yeah, and being able to be a part of that this year has been really great. But one of my best friends, I always look up to him, Chris Rittberger, who's here tonight. He's a great playmaker. Always extremely athletic, very quick, very smart about the game. Always has had a talent of understanding the game.
It's kind of been a trademark of Northern defenses the past couple of years.
Yeah.
So we talk about the swarming defenses. You don't know who the guy is, but everybody's there so quickly. By the time the first guy gets there, it's a split second. You got 5, 6, 7 more guys right there with him.
Exactly, and he's done a great job of getting to the football very fast, and he's a real hard-hitting kid. Also, Moot has also stepped up on defense. He plays outside linebacker.
Yeah, I always thought of him kind of as a defensive back kind of guy, but he plays that linebacker spot.
Yep, he filled up that linebacker spot this year, and he's done a great job at it. He's made a lot of big plays for us, a couple interceptions and quite a few sacks actually.
Got a regular Friday tradition, something you always do on Fridays every game day, every game since you've been playing for Northern, and maybe you came up with something this year it's worked. Is there something you do every game day, every Friday before the big game?
Well, we always try to do the same thing.
How about yourself? You got one tradition, little superstition?
A little bit. I always wear the same cutoff underneath my jersey, whether it's hot or cold. Same shirt that I've been wearing since freshman year. Actually, middle school for that matter.
So that same shirt since middle school?
Yes, sir.
Is it one of those half shirts, just protection shirt? Good.
Yeah. So just a little something. But
when you get through with your football career, do you take that half shirt, hang it up somewhere?
Yeah. Probably hang it up, probably underneath my jersey that I have, and hang it up, and that'll be it.
That's a good point, because you say hang it up, that's what you'll be doing when it's all said and done. But you don't want to hang it up now. You got 5 more games.
Hopefully. Yeah. Only one this week.
Yep, and this week you got
Eastern Guilford.
There you go. Glad you had that down. What is the number? 54?
Yes, sir.
Got it. I memorized those numbers, a few of those. Max, good job on your part. Keep up the good work. Good luck tomorrow night.
Thank
good
you,
luck
sir.
for the playoffs. Max Klietsch with us, offensive lineman and defensive lineman too for the Nighthawks. Chris Rittberger, number 22, up next. Chris will be in the house. He'll have a seat with us and talk to the Nighthawks. Big game coming up. Got a big season coming up.